Happiest New Year, beautiful soul. Welcome back to The Media Matters, the podcast where we're all mini mystics learning about the paranormal, the supernatural, and all the things together. And everyone is living their very best cosmic life. I'm your host, Chantel, and today we're diving into part 1 of our brand new series called Cosmic Connections. And today, it is all about the fascinating realm of birth charts. Get ready to unlock the secrets of the cosmos and discover how the celestial bodies influence your unique journey through life. Before we jump into our fabulous episode, let me take a moment to say hey to the retrograde we are living in, and she is the Mars retrograde. This lovely lady is here through February 23rd, 2025, and she means business. In case you didn't know, Mars is the planet of action and aggression, and during her retrograde, you might feel frustrated, lethargic, and needing to reevaluate past actions or decisions. This season may mean there's an unfavorable impact on your energy levels, potential for conflict, and a need for introspection. Here is a little sage advice. Be cautious with decision making, make sure you practice patience, focus on your self-care, communicate openly, and take time to reflect on past situations to figure out where you might need to adjust your approach. It is just a season, it too shall pass, but until it does, be kind to yourself and just slow down a bit. Next, we have a full moon in Cancer coming up on January 13th, 2025. This full moon is like an emotional spa day for your beautiful soul. Cancer's all about those deep feelings, gut instincts, and nurturing vibes. So don't be surprised if you're riding a roller coaster of emotions. You might find yourself craving comfort food or wanting to build a pillow fort. That's just Cancer's cozy energy doing its thing. Now, here's where it gets a little extra spicy. This wolf moon's teaming up with Mars and Uranus, creating a celestial cocktail of opportunity. This could be your golden ticket to make a bold move, especially in areas tied to your home life, family, or your inner world. To surf this lunar wave like a pro, try these cosmic tricks. First, dream big and set those intentions. The wolf moon's energy is perfect for planting the seeds of your wildest dreams for the year ahead. Next, take time for some emotional spring cleaning. Use this moon to sweep away any negative vibes that have been cramping your beautiful style. Maybe scribble down what you want to ditch and have a little moonlight bonfire ritual, if you will. Next, get your crystal game on point. Grab some moonstone or selenite to amp up that lunar energy and tap into your inner psychic. Lastly, think about whipping up a cozy ritual. You could light some candles, brew your favorite tea, and have a heart-to-heart with yourself or your bestie. Cancer's all about that warm, fuzzy stuff. Remember, this full moon is your cosmic permission slip to embrace your emotional superpowers and create a sense of home, both in your physical space and in your heart. So howl at the moon, channel your inner wolf, and let your intuition be your North Star. The universe is totally rooting for you. Last on our list, our newsletter is officially kicking off at the end of March. If you haven't signed up to receive our monthly newsletter full of all the cosmic fun you can handle, get on it. It'll be out at the end of each month to give you time to read and prepare your moon and seasonal rituals for the following month. Make sure you stay tuned because fun is on the way. Now then, let's get to the juicy stuff and start the show already, shall we? Let's start with the basics. So a birth chart, also known as a natal chart, it's like a cosmic snapshot of the sky at the exact moment you were born. Imagine it as a celestial blueprint mapping out the positions of the sun, the moon, the planets, and other astrological points in relation to the Earth. This chart is divided into 12 sections, each representing a different area of your life. These sections are called houses, and they work together with the zodiac signs and planets to create a unique astrological fingerprint that is all yours. Now, you might be thinking, hold the phone. I thought astrology was just about my sun sign. While your sun sign is important, it's just one piece of a much larger cosmic puzzle. Your birth chart considers not only the sun's position, but also the moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and all the other planets in our solar system. Each of these celestial bodies plays a role in shaping your personality, your strengths, your challenges, and even your destiny. It's like having a team of cosmic influences, each responsible for a different aspect of your life and character. Now that we have a general idea of what a birth chart is, let's break it down into three main components. That is the planets, the zodiac signs, and the houses. First up, let's talk about the planets. In astrology, we work with 10 planets, and I'm using air quotes here because we include the sun and the moon in this category. Okay, so each of these celestial bodies represents a different aspect of your personality or life experience. It's like they're all different characters in the story of you. So let's meet the cast. The sun. This is your star player, your leading role. The sun represents your core identity, your ego, and your life purpose. It's the essence of who you are at your very center. The moon. Think of the moon as your emotional co-star. It governs your feelings, your instincts, and subconscious mind. The moon is all about your inner world and how you nurture yourself and others. Mercury. This little speedster is your cosmic communicator. It is all about how you think, learn, and share information. It's like the narrator of your story, influencing how you express yourself. Venus. The planet of love and beauty. Venus represents your values, what you find attractive, and how you approach relationship. It's the romantic lead in your cosmic drama. Mars. Here's your cosmic warrior. Mars is all about action, desire, and assertiveness. It shows how you go after what you want and how you handle conflicts. Jupiter. Jupiter is the lucky giant. Jupiter represents expansion, growth, and optimism. It's where you find opportunities and how you seek to broaden your horizons. Saturn. Often called the taskmaster of the zodiac, Saturn represents discipline, responsibility, and life lessons. It's like the strict teacher in your cosmic classroom. Uranus. This is your rebel planet. Uranus governs innovation, sudden changes, and breaking free from conventions. It's the plot twist in your life story. Neptune. The dreamer of the zodiac. Neptune represents imagination, spirituality, and illusion. It's like the special effects in your cosmic movie, blurring the lines between reality and fantasy. Last but not least, we have Pluto, the planet of transformation and power. Pluto represents deep, fundamental changes and how you evolve through your life. Now, let's move on to the zodiac signs. We have 12 of these, each with its own unique flavor and energy. When a planet is in a particular sign, it takes on the characteristics of that sign. It's like each planet is an actor, and the sign it's in is the costume it's wearing. Here is a quick rundown. Aries. Aries is the pioneer. Aries is brave and impulsive. Next, we have Taurus, which is the builder, steady and sensual. Next, Gemini. Gemini is the communicator. Gemini is versatile and curious. Next up, we have Cancer, which is the nurturer. Cancer is intuitive and protective. Leo, the star, confident and creative. Next is Virgo. Virgos are the analyst. Virgos are practical and perfectionists. Next up, we have Libra, which is the diplomat. Libra is charming and balanced. Next, Scorpio, the investigator, intense and transformative. Sagittarius, the philosopher. Also, the optimist and the adventurer. Next is Capricorn, and Capricorn is the achiever. Capricorns are ambitious and disciplined. Aquarius, the visionary, innovative, and independent. Lastly, Pisces. Pisces is the mystic. Pisces is compassionate and imaginative. So, if you have Mars in Aries, for example, you might express your energy and drive in a very direct, pioneering way. But if your Mars is in Pisces, you might pursue your desires in a more intuitive, flowing manner. Remember, when a planet is in a particular sign, it takes on the characteristics of that sign. It's like each planet is the actor, and the sign it's in is the costume that it's wearing. Hopefully that helps. Okay, let's talk about the houses. So think of these as the different stages where the cosmic play of your life is unfolding. There are 12 houses, each representing a different area of your life. Let's get into it. So the first house. This is your identity and how you present yourself to the world. Your second house is your values, your possessions, and your earning capacity. Your third house is all about communication, learning, and your immediate environment. Your fourth house is your home, family, and your emotional foundations. The fifth house is all about creativity, pleasure, and self-expression. Up next, your sixth house. This is work, health, and daily routines. Your seventh house. This is partnerships and close relationships. Your eighth house is all about shared resources, transformation, and the deeper mysteries of life. In your ninth house, you will find higher education, long-distance travel, and philosophy. Your 10th house is all about career, public image, and life direction. Your 11th house is friendships, groups, and your hopes and dreams. And lastly, your 12th house. This is the subconscious, spirituality, and hidden aspects of life. The house that a planet occupies in your chart shows where that planet's energy is most likely to manifest in your life. For instance, if you have Venus in the 7th house, relationships might be a particularly important area of focus for you. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. All of these elements, the planets, signs, and houses, all of them work together to create the unique cosmic recipe that is you. It's like a celestial dance with each element playing off of the others to create a complex and nuanced picture of your personality and your life path. For example, let's say you have the sun in Leo in the 10th house. This might suggest that your core identity, which is the sun, expresses itself in a confident, creative way, which is Leo, particularly in your career and public life, which is your 10th house. But then let's say you have the moon in Pisces in the 4th house. This could mean that your emotional nature, which is the moon, is sensitive and intuitive, which is Pisces. And these qualities are especially apparent in your home and family life, which is your 4th house. Can you see how rich and layered this gets? It's like peeling an onion, with each layer revealing more depth and complexity. And the best part is that as you learn more about your chart, you actually learn more about yourself. It's a journey of self-discovery that can last a lifetime. All right, let's talk about the fascinating world of birth chart calculations. Okay, I know what you might be thinking, math in my astrology? But listen, don't worry. I promise to keep this as painless and interesting as possible. So, what exactly are we calculating when we create a birth chart? Well, we're essentially trying to pinpoint the exact positions of the celestial bodies at the moment you took your very first breath. It's like we're taking a cosmic snapshot of the sky from the perspective of your birthplace. Cool, right? Now, the main elements we're calculating are the positions of the sun, moon, and planets in the zodiac signs. Next is the angles of the chart, including the ascendant, which is your rising sign, and midheaven. Next is the house cusps and their placements. Okay, I know that's a little confusing, so let's break it down a little more. First, calculating the positions of the planets. This is where things get a bit technical, so just bear with me. So we use what's called an ephemeris, which is basically a celestial timetable. It tells us where each planet is in the zodiac at any given time. In the old days, astrologers had to use massive books and do a ton of math by hand. And listen, that is a hard pass for me. The tricky part is that the planets are constantly moving. The moon, for example, moves about 13 degrees per day, while Saturn might only move a few degrees in a month. So we need to know not just the day you were born, but the exact time, down to the minute, if at all possible. Next, we calculate the angles of the chart. The most important of these is the ascendant or rising sign. This is a zodiac sign that was coming up over the eastern horizon at the moment of your birth. It changes about every 2 hours, which is why your birth time is so critical. To calculate the ascendant, which is your rising sign, we need to know not just when you were born, but where. So the Earth's rotation means that the sky looks different depending on your location. So your birthplace is just as important as your birth time. We use something called the sidereal time to figure out which part of the zodiac was rising at the moment of your birth. Don't worry too much about the details, just know that it involves some fancy calculations based on your birth time and location. Next up is the midheaven, or MC. This is another important angle because this one represents the highest point the sun reaches in the sky on the day of your birth from the perspective of your birthplace. This point is always at the cusp of the 10th house and is associated with your public persona and your career. Lastly, we calculate the house cusps. So the houses are like a cosmic pie, dividing the sky into 12 sections. The cusp is the beginning of each house. There are different systems for calculating house cusps, with each system having its own mathematical formula and all the things. But they all aim to divide the chart in a way that reflects the Earth's daily rotation. Now then, you might be wondering why we use these particular elements. Well, it all comes down to the fundamental principle of astrology, which is as above, so below. The idea is that the positions and relationships of celestial bodies at the moment of your birth reflect the energies present as you begin your life journey. The sun, moon, and planets represent different aspects of your personality and life experiences. Their positions in the signs show how these energies express themselves. The ascendant, which is your rising sign, represents your outward personality and physical body. It's the point where the celestial meets the terrestrial, so to speak. The midheaven represents your public life and aspirations, and the houses show which areas of life these energies are most likely to manifest in. Think of it like this. It's like we're creating a map of the cosmic influences present at your birth. Each element, which is the planet, the sign, the house, the angle, it's all a piece of the puzzle. When we put them all together, we get a comprehensive picture of the energies you're working with in this lifetime. Now, I know this might sound complicated, and honestly, it kind of is. That's why most people these days use software to generate their birth chart. You just put in your birth date, the time, the place, and voila! The program does all these calculations in seconds. But here's the thing. While these calculations are complex, you don't need to understand all the math to benefit from astrology. What's important is learning to read and interpret the chart once it's calculated. It's like driving a car. You don't need to know exactly how the engine works to benefit from the journey. Honestly, there are a lot of moving parts when it comes to calculating these elements, which is why it's so important to know your exact birth details, like your birth time, right? If you don't know yours, you can still generate a chart, but it won't be as accurate, especially when it comes to the houses and ascendant, which is your rising sign. So in this case, you might want to consider getting a birth time rectification done by a professional astrologer. That aside, don't let the technical stuff intimidate you. The beauty of astrology is in the interpretation, in discovering how these cosmic energies play out in your life. And that, my friend, is where the real magic happens. Okay, let's zoom in on one particularly important aspect of your birth chart, your rising sign, also known as your ascendant. We talked a little bit about this just a moment ago, but let's get back in it. So this is a zodiac sign that was ascending on the eastern horizon at the moment of your birth. Your rising sign is crucial because it determines how your birth chart is laid out. It always occupies the first house of your chart, with the rest of the zodiac signs following in order. So this means that your rising sign has a significant impact on how you present yourself to the world and how others perceive you. Think of your rising sign as the mask you wear or the first impression you give. It's the energy you project outward, sometimes even before your sun sign traits become apparent. For example, if you're a Taurus sun with a Gemini rising, you might come across as more talkative and adaptable than the typical steady, grounded Taurus. Understanding your rising sign can provide valuable insights into your social personality and how you navigate the world around you. It's like the cover of your book, if you will. It might not tell the whole story, but it certainly gives a strong hint about what's inside. Now that we've covered the rising sign, let's talk about some of the key players in your birth chart. And they are the sun, the moon, and the inner planets. We've already touched on the sun, which represents your core identity, the essence of who you are. It's the center of your chart, just as it's the center of our solar system. The sun sign is what most people think of when they talk about their star sign. The moon, on the other hand, represents your emotional nature, your instincts, and your subconscious mind. It's associated with your inner world, your habits, and your reactions. Understanding your moon sign can give you deep insights into your emotional needs and how you process feelings. Then we have the inner planets, and those are Mercury, Venus, and Mars. So these planets move relatively quickly through the zodiac, which means their influence is more personal and immediate. Mercury, the planet of communication, tells us about how you think and express yourself. Venus, the planet of love and beauty, reveals your approach to relationships and what you value. Mars, the planet of action and desire, shows how you assert yourself and pursue your goals. These inner planets, along with your sun and moon, form the core of your personality in astrology. They're like the main characters in the story of your life, each playing a crucial role in shaping who you are and how you interact with the world around you. Moving outward in our solar system, we have the outer planets, and those are Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. These planets move much more slowly through the zodiac, spending years or even decades in a single sign. Because of this, their influence is often seen as more generational. So Jupiter, the planet of expansion and growth. Jupiter spends about a year in each sign. It represents where you're likely to find luck and opportunity in your life. Next is Saturn, which is often called the taskmaster of the zodiac. Saturn often spends about 2.5 years in each sign. It shows where you might face challenges or restrictions, but also where you have the potential for great achievement through hard work and discipline. Next, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, which are the slowest moving planets. These guys are often referred to as the generational planets because they affect entire generations of people born within a certain time frame. Uranus, associated with innovation and rebellion, stays in each sign for about 7 years. Then there's Neptune, the planet of dreams and spirituality, who tends to spend about 14 years in each sign. Lastly, Pluto, representing transformation and power, can spend up to 30 years in a single sign. While these outer planets might not have as direct an influence on your day-to-day personality as the inner planets, they do still provide important context for understanding the broader themes and challenges of your generation. Now that we've explored the various components of a birth chart, you might be wondering how to make sense of it all. The key is to remember that your birth chart is a complex, interconnected system. Each element influences and is influenced by the others. For example, let's say you have your sun in Leo, moon in Pisces, and rising sign in Virgo. This combination might mean you have a vibrant, charismatic core personality, Leo sun, but with a sensitive, intuitive, emotional nature, Pisces moon. The Virgo rising might add a touch of practicality and attention to detail to your outward demeanor. But it doesn't stop there. The houses these planets occupy, the aspects or angle they make to each other, and the positions of the other planets all contribute to the full picture of your astrological makeup. Reading a birth chart is both an art and a science. It requires not just knowledge of the individual elements, but an understanding of how they work together. It is definitely like conducting an orchestra, with each instrument having its own part to play. But it's the combination of all of them that creates that beautiful symphony. As we continue through this series, we're going to dive deeper into each of these elements, exploring how they interact and what they can reveal about your life's journey. We'll learn how to unlock insights that can guide you towards personal growth and self-understanding. And that brings us to the end of our very first episode of our Cosmic Connection series. I really hope this introduction to birth charts has sparked your curiosity about the cosmic forces at play in your life. Remember, astrology is a tool for self-discovery and growth. Your birth chart doesn't dictate your fate, it simply illuminates the energies you're working with. In our next episode, we will explore the fascinating world of planetary influences on our daily life. We're going to look at how the movements of the planets in the sky today interact with the placements in your birth chart, creating the cosmic weather that affects your day-to-day experiences. I cannot wait. If you enjoyed this episode, and I really hope that you did, please follow for more and share it with the ones you like and love, because sharing is caring. Send us your spooky stories and questions on Instagram, Facebook, or via email at hello@themediamatters.com. We love to hear from you. Don't forget to sign up for our totally free newsletter, by heading over to themediummatters.com/newsletter. She officially launches at the end of March, so sign up to be in the know. Until next time, this is Chantel with The Medium Matters, reminding you to keep your eyes on the stars and your feet on the ground. May the cosmos guide you on your journey of self-discovery. See you next time.